right. Welcome everyone to our planetary influence on health. Um, for those that don't know, although I'm pretty sure most of you do know, I am your presenter. My name is Deborah Holiday. I am an astrologer and also the founder and organizer of this group, NEO Astrology. We are in the middle, well, actually, we're in number 2 of 5 sessions on planetary, well, not just planetary health, health in general, astrological health. Last time, 2 weeks ago, we did the astrological anatomy. We went through how each of the zodiac signs related to health. Tonight, we're going into the planets and the asteroids, right? So we're into that second layer now. Tonight, I won't be talking about the houses, aspects, or transits, because those are the next 3 sessions. And so I will cover each of those in depth in one of the next 3 sessions. So we have 2 in July and we have 1 in August. Also, before I get going, for anybody that doesn't know this, I sent out an email to everyone, but I don't know if everyone got it. I can see that quite a few did, though. We are going to move our meetings announcements from Meetup to Eventbrite starting July the 16th. So the next meeting will be through Meetup, but the following one from that point on, everything will be on Eventbrite. I chose to do this because Meetup increased the price of what we were of just having a space where we could put things from $200 a year to $360 a year. So they almost doubled it, which is a lot of money considering that, you know, I want this to be free. I do this for free. And so I had to find another way. Some of you recommended Eventbrite. I looked into it. It is a way more cost-effective solution for us, possibly even free on some of our occasions for some of our talks. So I'm moving us over. So that we move seamlessly. If you haven't already, I'm going to put a couple links in here for you. Here is the link to sign up on for, you know, subscribe to our page on Eventbrite. Here is our YouTube link. Everything we do is put on YouTube the day after it. So, and I'm going to give you also a link to our email list that I run. And that way I can send out direct emails, which some of you are already on it. I can send directly to you without having some other software be an intermediate. And I saw a question. Hang on. Is there more beginner-friendly videos on your YouTube? Yes, absolutely. We have done a lot of beginner things. Jessica, if you are a beginner, reach out to me and I can lead you in a direction. I can send you some more links to some of our videos. Last year, we did an entire series on the very bare basics of astrology. I would be more than happy to share that with you. So you could watch the videos on your own. Those were not on YouTube. That was prior to us going to YouTube. We just started YouTube, I believe, at the autumn equinox. So we were not on there prior to the autumn equinox. But yes, I have all kinds of things. How do I log into IndyMind? I believe you have to join Eventbrite. If any of you have done it, please reach out to the others and let them know how the process works. I set it up, but I can't join us. So all I have is the links they gave me. So please, and like I said, you can email me. My information is going to be at the end of this slideshow. So feel free to email me directly and I will give you anything and everything I can to get you to make sure that everybody makes it to the sessions, because I don't want to have people not be able to get there. Okay. All right. I'm going to share the slides one more time. For anybody who's just watching, these will be in the information below the video on YouTube. So you get the slides as well. All right. I'm going to jump into it. Here we go. All right. Because of the content of what we're talking about tonight, I am going to have to read my disclaimer. So let me read this off to you real quick here. The content provided in this astrology presentation, including all textual material and chart interpretations, is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and is not intended to serve as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I am not a medical practitioner, and I do not offer medical advice or health services. I have a doctorate, but it is not in medicine. It is in philosophy. The insights and strategies discussed during the session should not be taken as medical guidance or applied as a medical solution to any health issue. Participants are encouraged to consult with qualified health professionals regarding any personal health concerns or conditions. Any reliance on the information provided in this session is strictly at your own risk. I do not guarantee the accuracy or efficiency of astrological interpretations in predicting or resolving any health-related issues. By participating in this session, you acknowledge and agree that the session facilitator and organizer are not liable for any direct, indirect, incidental, consequential, or any other damages arising out of or related to your use or inability to use the information or strategies discussed. Participation in this presentation does not establish a professional-client relationship of any kind between the facilitator and the participant. All astrological counseling provided during this session is intended to support self-awareness and personal growth, not to provide health or medical solutions. Okay, we've gotten that out of the way and behind us. All right, so we are here to dig into these planets. So let's do this. Basically, we're going to look at how each planet influences various aspects of health and well-being, providing a hopefully comprehensive understanding of their unique contributions to our physical and emotional and psychological health. You know, astrology, of course, is always going to be associated with personality traits and life events. But beyond that, it really gives us some pretty profound information on sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was letting people in. It gives us a lot of information on like I said last time, when you learn, once you start learning what the planets and what the signs mean medically, you start having an understanding to why you yourself experience certain things, or why you have why you have certain health issues, or ways you can maybe get around your health issues, things of that nature. So this is really amazing information to know just for yourself, but it gives you, if you start reading charts, a much deeper understanding of the person that you're reading for as well, because you have a better understanding of not only how the astrology is affecting them in personality and in life event, but also in their health and their emotional and psychological well-being. All right. So as we look through the planets, I'm going to talk about each of them and kind of give you, like I did last time, I'm looking for kind of a balanced and holistic approach. So I can kind of, so we can use it to kind of just holistically look at ourselves as individuals. All right, so if we jump into the sun, the sun is, of course, our vital force and our life and our vitality. All right. And if we look at it health-wise, it's going to rule our heart, our circulatory system, and our overall vitality. The sun, it's basically you've got this radiant energy symbolized, life force, vitality, personal identity. All of that is that sun energy. And when we think about it in health, it highlights the importance of physical and emotional well-being, and it emphasizes the need for a strong heart and a robust circulation to maintain health and vitality. Okay. So when we look at the heart, the sun representing the heart, think of it as the center of vitality. All right. So the sun's influence over the heart reflects the role that it has in maintaining life. And you're going to hear me say this word 1,000 times tonight as far as the sun goes, because I'm trying to drive it home. Vitality. When you think of sun, think of vitality. Okay. It's our heart is what drives the circulation of our blood and our energy through our body. And sun-related health issues might include things like heart conditions, blood pressure concerns, issues with circulation. It could be where energy calls for a focus on strengthening the heart or maintaining cardiovascular health. When we think about it with our circulatory system, think about the energy and it flowing. All right. So if you think about it, what does our circulatory system do? It distributes nutrients and oxygen and energy throughout our body. And so this system really embodies the sun's role in sustaining life and promoting that vitality. And so let's say the sun is leading to a condition that is affecting circulation. That could be things like blood flow issues or vascular problems, all right, that can be linked to the sun influence. We're going to ensure a healthy, balanced circulatory system to maintain that energy level in us. Okay. So if we're thinking about ways to support and harness the sun, the beneficial effects of sun in our health, all right, we're looking at strengthening the heart. So that would be, engaging in activities that support that cardiovascular health. And think of it as stress management techniques. Stress management goes along with the sun's energy. It promotes that strong, healthy heart and that robust circulation. We've got the sun positively influencing and you being able to utilize it to boost vitality. All right. So you could use it by, think about, the sun showing you need adequate rest, depending on where it is in the chart. Our balanced nutrition, our exposure to maybe more sunlight. Maybe you need to spend more time outside during certain times of the years, during certain times of the year. You could use it to cultivate emotional well-being. We all know, I know you guys know as well as I do, when it's wintertime, we feel kind of crappy. Why? Because we're not out in the sun. You don't get to get a dose of sun. That sun energy of the physical sun actually boosts within us that positive self-image and that engaging in activities that, bring joy and fulfillment and build those strong emotional resilient things within us. And that's that sun energy helping us with our vitality. Okay. So when we're looking at the sun and its role in our astrological constitution, we talked about that a lot last time. Our astrological constitution, it's inviting us to connect the core of our vitality and our well-being by recognizing and engaging the sun's theme of light force. All right. So we're going to use it to navigate our health journeys with a sense of that radiance, that strength, that connection. All right. And so think about, and if you did not attend the last one, I have a link. It is on YouTube, but I have a link as well at the end of the slideshow that I shared to get to the last presentation, because I'm going to be linking some pieces here together. When we were talking about the zodiac and each of the signs. Think about what sign or what, think about where your sun is in your chart and the sign that it is in. And that will offer you information on how to boost your vitality and how to cultivate your emotional well-being. Okay. All right, let's look at the moon. All right, the moon is the nurturer of our emotion and our intuition. Okay, and it rules our stomach, our digestive system, and our fluids balance. Right, the moon's energy is reflective, it's nurturing, and it's closely tied to our emotions and our instincts. When we're looking at it in terms of health, it emphasizes the importance of emotional well-being, proper digestion, and maintaining fluid balance within the body. Okay. I am a Cancer. I'm ruled. My sun is ruled by the moon. The issues that involve health for the moon are places, the significant areas of my health that I have trouble with are all covered right here in the moon. Okay. So it can literally be that literal when you when you find what rules your sign, you can dig in like we were kind of doing last time, just scraping the zodiac. You can have planets that are ruling you. Okay. So when we are looking at the moon and the parts of the body that it governs, we are going to start with stomach. Remember, what is your stomach? Your stomach is your center of nurturing. Okay. The moon's influence over the stomach, I think, really underscores its connection to nurturing and the process of both food and emotions. The stomach represents like our ability to digest and assimilate experiences and provide nourishment necessary for our emotional and our physical health. And so when we have moon related health issues, they would come out in things like digestive disorders, emotional eating, stomach sensitivity, right? Because this is where the nurturing energy is calling for attention, asking us to feed both our body and our soul at the same time. All right. When we look at it from the digestive system point of view, think of processing and assimilation again. All right. So our digestive system basically is how we process and integrate what we consume, both physically and emotionally. And so this system reflects the moon's role in assimilating experiences, maintaining balance, and ensuring that we derive nourishment from our environment. And so things that would go along, conditions that go along with digestion, could be things like indigestion, IBS, any of the nutrition absorption issues. Okay. All of those could be linked to having a moon's influence, suggesting a need for a balanced, supportive digestive process. Right. Let's talk about the fluid balance as far as the moon goes. When you think about the fluid balance, think of it mirroring the influence that the moon has on the ebb and the flow. It's not only the ebb and the flow of emotion, it's literally the ebb and the flow of the hydration in our body. All right. This balance is crucial for maintaining, the homeostasis and the emotional equilibrium in our bodies. So things that might be related to the moon as far as hydration goes would be fluid retention, issues with your lymphatic system that, that kind of reflect challenges, perhaps maintaining an emotional balance or fluidity within your life. Things requiring practices that support proper hydration and emotional processing. Those would all be things that would be coming through. Now, if we want to enhance our moon's health and try to help and harness it and support it in our lives, you of course want to support your digestive. All right. So that's going to be doing things like balanced eating, mindful eating, stress reduction. All of those things align with moon energy. All right. And it helps ensure the body effectively processes and assimilates nutrients. Okay. When we think about maintaining balance in our fluids, you know, hydration. Hydration is a significant piece of fluid regulation, which makes us think about the importance. They always tell us to make adequate water intake, not taking in excess sodium, engaging in, physical activity, thinking of all of those things, helping the moon being able to balance our body. When we're looking at emotional well-being, that's self-care. Okay. That's when I'm saying you really need to nurture yourself, nurture your emotional expression, build networks of, positivity around you that can enhance that moon's emotional energy, kind of supporting that, making that balance between body and mind. Okay. When we think about the moon's role in our astrological constitution, it's inviting us to connect our emotional and intuitive aspects. So by recognizing and engaging with the moon's theme of nurturing, emotion, balance, we are navigating our health journey with a sense of intuition, care, and emotional resilience. Okay. All right. So Mercury, we have um, the messenger. He's the messenger of the mind and movement. Okay. Think about that. He's communication. He was the messenger. So he was, you know, going, flittering. Think of the signs and the things that go along with him. Okay. So when we look at the health influence of Mercury, we are looking at the nervous system, speech, and the respiratory system. Okay. And we are looking at, when we think about Mercury's domain, what do we know of? We know communication. We know cognitive functioning. We know the mechanisms of movement and coordination. All right. And so when we are thinking about a well-aspected Mercury, that signifies a sharp mind and somebody who's very efficient with communicating. But now if you have a challenged Mercury, it could manifest itself as anxiety, speech difficulties, respiratory issues like asthma. I am continually blaming Mercury for my not always getting the words out that I want, which I know you guys have experienced multiple times as you've gotten to know me over the last couple years. Sometimes my brain moves so much faster than my mouth that it takes forever to get the things coming out of my mouth the right way. And I do have Mercury retrograde. And so I have always contributed that to the fact that my mind moves much faster than my mouth. So when we think about Mercury and the influence over our nervous system, okay, think about the nervous system in Mercury. And we're thinking about how, it's profound. It governs our capacity for being responsive and our ability to process stimuli and, from the things that are around us. And again, if it's well aspected, everything runs smoothly. But if it's challenging, then you see difficulties in that processing and that communication. Especially, I see it in, working with children. I see it in like ADHD, anxiety disorders, nerve related issues. Some of those can be traced back to Mercury's in the chart. And, so those sorts of things. Think about it when we are thinking respiratory system. the respiratory system is vital for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And that's why it falls underneath that Mercury rule, because it's emphasizing the planet's association with breath and the flow of air. And so this connection, if you think about it on metaphorically, extends to the flow of ideas and information. And so when we're thinking about health things related to Mercury, when we're looking at the respiratory area, think bronchitis, asthma, upper respiratory infections, right? These are conditions that might reflect challenges in Mercury's placement or aspects, indicating periods where attention to respiratory health or clear communication is needed. Okay. Let's think about, because we know our hands, our arms, our movement. Well, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So when we think about Mercury, we can also think about the movement of hands, arms. It's Mercury is our dexterity and our coordination, the writing, the typing, playing a musical instrument. It can, when we think about conditions, it could be carpal tunnel syndrome, repetitive strain injuries, issues that are related to being coordination and dexterity. If you have issues, with a challenged Mercury, you can see that. Then on the flip side, let's talk about some of the positive things that could come from that. If you've got a very positively aspected Mercury, you would probably have excellent high end hand-eye coordination and skill in communication through movement. You think about the people that have extremely excellent and smooth coordination and dexterity. All right. So when Mercury's placement in a chart can significantly impact mental health. All right. The way we think, the way we learn, the way we communicate. It influences the logical processes that are going on in the brain and how we make decisions and our style of learning and absorbing information. And Mercury's health implications coming from this could be related to cognitive function issues, potentially issues that maybe are affecting memory or clarity of thought, the ability to articulate ideas. All right, so to support and enhance Mercury's influence on health and stimulate the mind, we're going to, engage in things that challenge intellect and improve cognitive function, like puzzles, reading, learning something new, a new skill, something that, keeps your brain active, quite literally. When we are thinking about supporting respiratory health, think about things like yogic breathing, maybe some kind of aerobic exercise. Think about your environment and the allergens or lack thereof that might increase respiratory health, breath. Think about things that you can do that are activities for fine motor, like drawing or knitting or coloring. Anything that enhances dexterity and high hand coordination are going to be enhancing that Mercury energy. Think about when you're communicating to try to do it clearly, developing active listening skills and practicing, clear and effective communication. That's wonderful when it comes to alleviating stress and improving relationships. And you're reflecting there on Mercury's core domain. All right. So basically, thinking Mercury and its astrological constitution, it's going to allow our mental, communicative, and physical health with greater awareness and kind of adopting practices that align with our natal, the things that we have natally that are in our charts to have kind of that holistic well-being. So again, think about where Mercury is. What sign is it in? Where is it living in your chart? Okay. All right. Oh, I accidentally duplicated it. I will fix this. I will give you all the information. I apologize for the slide not matching. I didn't realize it didn't match. But so you have to ignore that and just listen to me. So when we are looking at Venus, Venus is called her the harmonizer of affection and aesthetics. Okay. So when we think about the health influences of Venus, we're looking at the venous system, kidneys, throat. Okay. Venus influences our senses. We're looking at harmony and beauty and affection. It impacts areas related to love and pleasure and the arts, of course. But when we're thinking about health, it affects the health of the kidneys, of the skin, of the throat. And it highlights conditions that are related to these areas, focusing on balance and aesthetic harmony. Okay. So when we are thinking about kidneys and Venus, we are looking at balance, okay, because the kidneys are going to be representing a filtration system. So it's the balance that we have to maintain within our bodies. And so the kidneys work to maintain that, homeostasis by filtering the waste and balancing fluids and electrolytes and the blood pressure and all of those kinds of things. And so if you think about it, that really mirrors Venus's role in astrology as far as maintaining harmony and equilibrium. Now, things that might affect kidneys, conditions that might come through would be imbalances in fluid retention or kidney stones, which those could be very challenging things if you have Venus aspected in a natal chart. When we're looking at vein health, Venus also influences how effectively the blood is returned to the heart. And so it's looking at overall circulatory health and the appearance of veins. Okay. When we are looking at the throat with Venus, it symbolizes the conduit of our voice. And if you think about it metaphorically, it's our ability to express love and creativity. Venus's influence in this space is about the beauty of expression, both in speech and in song. And issues in this area might manifest in ways like maybe sore throatness or a thyroid imbalance or a challenge in vocal expression, suggesting maybe a need to realign with those Venusian qualities, that to try to realign your harmony, your self-expression, even self-love. Right? When we think about Venus and the skin, our skin is the largest organ in our body, and it acts as a boundary between us and the external world. The condition of our skin can often reflect our internal health. It expresses our hormonal balances, our emotional well-being. And so if you think about it, Venus's position and aspects can indicate the propensity that we have for skin conditions like acne, eczema, psoriasis, things that are well aspected with Venus. When we have nicely aspected things going on in our Venus realm, that could be someone who has a very clear complexion or has a very strong sense of personal aesthetic. Okay. When we move beyond physical, all right. So Venus governs our emotional responses related to love, to pleasure, to relational harmony. All right. And so it influences our capacity for affection, our sense of beauty and harmony in our surroundings and our values. And so again, if we've got that challenged Venus, it could manifest as having maybe a difficulty in giving or receiving love, issues with self-esteem, harmony in relationships. Okay. And so to support and enhance Venus's beneficial effects on health, think about doing things like, think about our kidneys. What do we do for our kidneys? Drink water. Have you noticed a little bit of a correlation between the moon and Venus when I'm speaking about fluids? Why might that be? Well, what sign is the exalted moon? Taurus. What's ruled by what? Who rules Taurus? Venus. All right. So these things play together. So when we are thinking about nourishing the kidneys, think about nourishing the kidneys. Um, think about, again, water, reducing sodium. Think about kidney supportive foods like berries and leafy greens and, all of those sorts of things that give us kidney health. When we think about our voice and our throat, um, you know, try to stay hydrated again. Because that's an important piece. You know, take care of yourself in the winter. Make sure that you drink the warm drinks, that you nurture your throat area. Wear a scarf, for goodness sakes, even though it sounds silly. Creative expression is also a huge piece to giving benefit to your Venus organ of your throat and voice. So don't be afraid to sing out loud, whether you're alone or with somebody else. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, because when you speak your truth, it harnesses that Venusian harmony that you have. Okay. Think about skin health. All right. It's Venus. Embrace a beauty routine that aligns, with those Venusian things. Do general skincare that supports your skin health. You know, uh, Make sure you have a diet where you consume some antioxidants and some omega-3 fatty acids. And of course, when we are thinking about Venus as in love, think about practicing self-love, seeking beauty and pleasure in everyday life, embodying Venus's essence, and engaging in the arts and the crafts and such forth. All right. When we think about Venus and as in her astrological constitution, think about it fostering health and well-being by aligning our lifestyle and our self-care with Venusian principles, things that can enhance our capacity to love, enhance our ability to maintain harmony, not only with ourselves, but with the others that we are engaged with. Okay. All right. Mars. Mars is the warrior of energy and assertion. Okay. When we think about health, as far as Mars goes, we're going to look at the muscles, our head, and our adrenal glands. Okay, those are the big three. Um, Mars embodies our drive, our energy, and our capacity for action. It influences and extends our physical stamina, our physical strength. It's our body's ability to assert itself. And if Mars is challenged, it could lead to inflammations, cuts, burns, fevers, um, things that reflect that fiery, combative, combustive nature. Okay. So when we think about it in the muscular body, all right, so Mars influence on our muscular body, it is our physical strength and the energy that we expend literally in life's battles, which could be in the realm of maybe a competitive sport. It could be in some demanding physical task that we have to do, or it could simply be just the daily grind that we go through every day. And think about if we have a well aspected Mars, that's going to lend to robust vitality and stamina and the drive to tackle physical challenges. Whereas if Mars challenged, it might manifest in a tendency towards maybe getting in accidents or injuries or inflammation in your body. Okay. Mars also rules the blood, which is the production and the circulation. All right. And those adrenal glands, which play a critical role for our body's flight and fight response. Okay. And so this association highlights Mars' role in how we face stress, danger, and physical exertion. So let's say some issues that could be related to blood with Mars could be things like anemia or high blood pressure. It could be, those would definitely be linked. It could be conditions that are related to adrenal stress or adrenal imbalance. Okay. Again, I have a Mars in my chart that is at fall. Okay. And my Mars at fall is in my sixth house. And so for me, I have seen some of these things. I have struggled with um, the inflammation and injuries in daily activities, daily life activities. I've gotten injured in some of the most bizarre ways, but things going on daily. Yes, Jessica, I will. I will reach out and send those to you. All right. So if we think about Mars, all right, uh, on a metaphorical level, okay, Mars governs our assertiveness and our capacity to stand up for ourselves. And if you think about it, that's similar in some ways to the immune system's role in defending the body against disease. Mars placement and aspects can indicate how one might respond to threat, not just in an interpersonal manner, but in an immunological way. Okay, ranging from aggressive defense to response. Okay, and so when we think about Mars and as physical action, all right, its influence extends to our mental and emotional realms. It fuels our passions. It fuels our desires. It fuels the determination we have to pursue goals. And if you've got a challenged Mars, it could come through in anger, in frustration, in impulsivity. Whereas if you had a very nicely supported Mars, it could come through as courage, determination, a healthy sense of competition. So you can kind of see how it plays each way. Ways that you can use Mars beneficially. The first would be, of course, to promote physical activity. Look at what you have sign wise and try to align your physical activities with your Mars in that kind of space, with that energy. Um, think about ways to increase the muscular and the cardiovascular things, that stuff that would, when I say look at your sign. I'm going to back up just a smidge. All right, so let's say we are heavy earth in our chart. Well, that means that you're going to find physical activity probably out in nature. Those are going to be our hikers, the people that go out and do things out in the world, maybe biking, things of that nature. Let's say water. You have a heavy water chart. All right. We're heavy water. So our water, pool, swimming, things that have to do with water work, maybe rowing, any of those kind of things. All right. Let's say we are looking at my brain is not coming up for anything that would be air. I'm drawing a blank. Activities that would be air oriented, that are physical, would be things. My mind is not working. My brain's just thought in itself. Let's think mental Olympics. Well, I guess sort of. Yes. Okay. That would be challenging the system. But that would be more mental cognitive growth versus the physical growth. Air, my brain is starting to get things going with air. Things like singing, yes, disc. I'm thinking of like frisbee, disc golf. Think of sports that have to do with air. I know there are probably dozens. Hang gliding, things of that nature. Okay. Basketball, yes, yes. You guys have the idea here. Diving, yes, yes, yes. See, my brain quit and you stepped right in. Thank you. And so when we're looking at things, fire, fire would be the really, really engaging ones. I think of like weightlifting and running. We're not just walking, we're running. Things that are highly engaging and enduring and making our blood really, just the aerobic activities. Okay. Those things as well might help manage stress, depending upon where your Mars is. But when you think of stress in Mars, think of managing the adrenal response to stress. Okay. Because that's more where it's at. It's the adrenal response to stress. When you think about blood health, think iron, think vitamin B12, think folate acids, think leafy greens, lean meats, legumes, all of those kinds of things. When we are working on cultivating assertiveness, think about learning ways to express your desires and your and the way you feel and expressing yourself assertively, but in a healthy way, mitigating frustration or a passive aggressive response. Okay. So when we are looking at Mars and the astrological constitution, we're looking at tapping into innate drive and resilience, right? And we're directing these energies towards achieving our goals and maintaining our health. By recognizing the dynamic force of Mars within us, we can really find balance between action and rest, assertiveness and understanding, and embodying the warrior spirit in pursuit of our own well-beings. Okay. All right, Jupiter. So we'll look at Jupiter. We're looking at the liver, the thighs, and the growth process. Okay. Jupiter's generous spirit, when you think of Jupiter, we always think of being expansive. And that's whether it's through physical growth, through intellect, through spiritual exploration. Those are all, that Jupiter expansion. Now, in terms of health, it can signify a really robust constitution, but it can also signify a tendency towards excess. And when it goes excess, think about it manifesting in the liver or in obesity. Okay. When you look at Jupiter's dominion over the liver, again, that's a vital organ for detoxification and nutrition processing. And it highlights its role in promoting health and well-being through purification and through growth. And the liver's function to metabolize fats speaks to Jupiter's influence on how we assimilate and we store energy. Okay. So let's say we have an optimally functioning liver. Well, symbolically, under Jupiter's watch, that would be one that supports vitality and is an efficient use of our body's resources. However, if you think about the expansive nature of Jupiter, it could also lead to the excess, if not balanced, manifesting in challenges managing weight, in cholesterol, in overindulgence of food or substances or beverages. Okay. When we think about growth and Jupiter, think about how it extends to our physical and emotional healing. All right. when we think of Jupiter, it's offering like a protective and regenerative energy that encourages that optimism and that resilience. And if its influence it can signify a really, really, really robust constitution. I have known some very, very dynamically healthy, athletic, healthy Sagittarians. And it also, it enhances capacity for recovery from illness and injury. But yet, we have to think about Jupiter. The principle of expansion also necessitates mindfulness to avoid overgrowth. So it could, again, attach into things like tumors or inflammation. Okay? When we go beyond physical, Jupiter governs our search for meaning and wisdom and spiritual growth. That includes and it influences our philosophical look on life, our outlook, and it's where we get our sense of ethics from, and our drive to expand our horizons through education and travel and exploration. And so in terms of health, again, think about how this would translate. So if we've got an optimistic attitudes towards healing and a belief in the body's innate capacity for regeneration that is guided by the broader universe or some higher power or higher entity, that would add to that health and that vigor of that Sagittarian energy. When we think about ways to support and enhance Jupiter, with the liver, you of course want to leafy greens, turmeric. Those are wonderful things, to positively influence Jupiter's influence. But you also want to think about maybe doing regular detoxification, moderate consumption of things that hurt our liver, like alcohol or processed foods, because those are things that can slow or damage our liver functions. When we are thinking about balanced growth, you want to think about regulating physical activity that promotes balance, not overextending activity. Because if we're overextending, then you're getting out, you're using that not positive energy off of Jupiter. You're using the more shadowish energy. So you want to try to balance using mindful energy versus overextending yourself. So when we think about Jupiter and its, as far as the astrological constitution, it's going to invite us to embrace expansion in our health and our personal development thoughtfully. It encourages us to seek balance between growth and excess, and it guiding us towards being a holistic being that includes physical vitality and mental expansion and spiritual fulfillment. Jupiter's influence reminds us that we've got that optimism and that faith and that general spirit that we've got, and those can be really potent allies in our journey to be healthy. All right, we've got Saturn, the structure of time and discipline. All right, so when we think about Saturn, we have to think of Chronos. We refer to Saturn sometimes as the taskmaster of the zodiac because it represents structure and discipline and limitations. And so in health, it oversees bones, teeth, the skeleton, and its influence can highlight areas of life requiring discipline, or where we have to have restriction. Okay. And so when we're thinking about it health-wise, it could point to chronic conditions or the need for careful management of things that have to do with the bones, the joints, the skin. Okay. So when we look at Saturn's dominion over the bones and the skeletal system, it represents the structural framework of our bodies. And so that highlights the need for strength and stability and durability. Of course, healthy bones and teeth are crucial for well-being. They support our movements, they nourish our bodies through the marrow. And so Saturn's influence here can indicate a predisposition to maybe bone density issues, arthritis, dental challenges, uh, emphasizing the importance for calcium and vitamin D and weight bearing exercise and things of that nature to maintain our skeletal health. When we think about skin, we are looking at, as I said, the largest organ in our body. We're looking at it a little different than we did when we were talking Venus, because we're looking at the integrity of our skin, as in its resilience and its boundary setting ability. And so think of things like um, psoriasis, aging of the skin. All of those are lessons from Saturn in caring for our boundaries and respecting the limits of our physical bodies. With um, with Saturn, we have to think about the fact that it's when you look at the symbolism, you're looking at themes of discipline, responsibility, acceptance of limitations, and that extends to our health and our wellness. Saturn teaches us the value of patience and perseverance and the facing of the reality of aging with grace. And it encourages us to implement disciplined health practices and regular checkups and long-term view of well-being that acknowledges the inevitability of the process of aging. It all kinds of goes together. And so to support and enhance our Saturn, you want to think about structure or health. So we want to think about making sure that we have a diet that's rich in those minerals that are health. And of course, like we said just a second ago, the weight bearing kind of exercises that are going to strengthen our bones, and flexibility exercises so that we have that flexibility in our joints. When you think about skin, although it is a different purpose than Venus, it's still somewhat the same thing to enhance it. Adopt a skincare routine. The positive point of Saturn is Venus wants you to do it for the aesthetic reason. Saturn wants you to do it for the routine, to nourish your skin, and it's going to give you the structure to make that come through. You think about with Saturn, you want to think about developing a disciplined approach to health and wellness, because Saturn is going to help you embrace discipline. All right. And you have to always remember that Saturn rewards patience and structure and persistence. So it's almost like the energy that kind of, when we're developing routines health wise, kind of help us to embrace the ability to have some kind of discipline or lack thereof, depending on how it's aspected. When we look at Saturn's astrological constitution, we're going to think about how it allows us to approach our health with seriousness and discipline and respect for the natural laws of aging and physical limitations. All right. And so basically, by building a solid foundation of health practices, we honor Saturn's teachings, ensuring that our structures remain strong and resilient so we can navigate the challenges and responsibilities that we have in our physical existence. All right, Uranus. So Uranus is the awakening of change and innovation. When we think about health, we're going to think about our ankles, our nervous system, and the potential for sudden health change. Okay. We know that Uranus brings with it energy of sudden change, innovation, rebellion. And when we think of it in the framework of health, this manifests itself as maybe a sudden awakening or disruption that potentially highlights some kind of issue to do with the nervous system or some kind of accident, especially things perhaps affecting ankles. Okay. When we think about ankles and Uranus, um, think about our ability to adapt quickly to change in direction, both literally and metaphorically. And so this area's health can indicate Uranus's effect, influence in promoting agility and flexibility, and its propensity for sudden, unexpected injuries, such as sprains or fractures. Okay. The unpredictable nature of Uranus can manifest in moments when we're pushed to swiftly change our path, reminding us of the importance of maintaining flexibility and strength in these supportive structures. Okay. When we think about Uranus's connection to the nervous system, particularly the aspects that govern our flight or fight response, think about it really underscores the role on how we react to sudden change or stress. Individuals with really prominent Uranus in their charts might find themselves more susceptible to stress-induced conditions or nervous excitability that kind of reflects the planet's erratic and unpredictable energy patterns. And so this influence calls for grounding practices and stress management techniques to ensure that the nervous system's health is maintained and has some adaptability to it. If you think about Uranus as far as when I think of Uranus, I think of like an epiphany. You have this sudden shift in what you understand, or a sudden change in the direction you were going. And that includes health. All right. And it can signify breakthroughs through moments when we adopt like a radically new approach to our well-being or experience sudden recoveries. However, its influence can also herald really abrupt health challenges that might serve as a catalyst for change, kind of urging us to transform our lifestyle, or the way that we are approaching our health. When you are trying to think of things to support or harness the benefits of Uranus, you of course want to engage in exercise that build that ankle strength and flexibility, balance training, yoga, things of that nature. You want to think about things that you can do to calm your nervous system, like meditation, deep breathing, spending time in nature. All of those could help soothe that excitability that's associated with Uranus. And you also want to cultivate openness to change and adopting kind of an innovative mindset set towards things. And that way it will help you align that Uranus energy, making it, taking those potential disruptions and turn them into opportunities for growth and improvement. Okay. So when we think about Uranus's astrological constitution, it's inviting us to view change and unpredictability as an integral part of our growth and evolution, especially in terms of our health. And so by preparing our bodies and our minds for unexpected anything, and cultivating that resilience that we have, it gives us the ability to navigate swift currents with agility and grace. And that really transforms potential challenges into catalysts to push us forward with our personal development and well-being. Neptune. Neptune is the mystic of healing and integration. Um, so we know Neptune was named after the Roman god of the sea, and it embodies that kind of boundless, ethereal, spiritual dimensions in astrology. And if you think about this planet's influence, it's very vast. It's mysterious, like the ocean. It's deep. It's intuitive. It often, it has the blurring the lines between reality and the unseen world. And so when we think of the human body in Neptune, it governs the immune system, highlighting its role in the subtle and intangible process that defends us against invisible threats. It also rules over our feet and our pineal gland, associating it with our spiritual grounding and our connection to universal consciousness. Okay. So when we think about Neptune's influence on the immune system, it really emphasizes the body's innate ability to distinguish self from non-self. It's a process that I think is both miraculous and mystifying. Just as Neptune blurs boundaries, um, immune conditions under its spell can sometimes involve confusion or misredirection. Things such as like an autoimmune disease where the body mistakenly attacks itself, those sorts of things. But then if you take it, looking at it from the other side, a more positive side, it can also symbolize that miraculous healing that the body is capable of, where recovery occurs in ways that seem beyond the reach of conventional explanation. When somebody just gets better overnight and nobody knows why, or things heal and you're like, I don't understand this. It's also that energy. When we think about the feet, all right, with Neptune, they support us physically while also symbolizing our spiritual journey through life. So when you have conditions affecting your feet, things like circulation issues, sensitivity, grounding issues, that may reflect like calling to pay attention to where you are standing, both literally and metaphorically. Neptune's influence invites us to practice that connect and ground, energy, both spiritually and physically. It ensures that we walk our path with purpose and with adaptability. And so I will say that when I talk about the pineal gland, it isn't always highlighted in traditional astrology, but in the readings I've done and in some of the lessons that I've taken with different astrologers, Neptune's association with the pineal gland really ties it to our visionary capacity and spiritual insight. If you think about it, this small gland, often linked to our third eye in mysticism, plays a role in regulating sleep and wake cycles, and it's thought to be a conduit for transcending normal states of consciousness. And so Neptune's influence here, I think, is underscored, especially in the importance of dreams, intuition, and the connection to broader universal consciousness. Okay. I think it's a very obvious connection. Things that we can do to support or enhance our Neptunes. You want to engage in things that are going to reduce stress and promote emotional well-being. Things that support immune function. Think about antioxidants, yoga, things that are going to bolster our body's defenses. Think about spiritual grounding, spending time in nature, engaging in studies in whatever you are aligning with, things that will help you to align that ethereal energy with this physical realm. Caring for our feet through massage, reflexology, making sure you have comfortable shoes, for goodness sakes. Those kinds of things all are going to cultivate that, the positive of Neptune. Think about Neptune's mystical influence, and you being able to harness it through things that encourage intuition, dream exploration, maybe keeping a dream journal, practicing visualization, guided meditations instead of just meditation, doing guided meditations aimed at enhancing that spiritual insight. Okay. When we think about Neptune's astrological constitution, it offers insights into the complex interplay between our physical health, our emotional well-being, and our spiritual depth. And so by nurturing our bodies, our minds, and our spirits with Neptune's very transient and healing energy, we have the ability to embrace that holistic approach to health that honors the unseen forces that are shaping our journeys. All right, Pluto, last but not least of the planets. He is the transformer of healing and regeneration. Okay. So when we think about the health influence of Pluto, we're going to talk about reproductive systems, elimination systems, cellular regeneration. If you think about Pluto, it's really powerful energy that's all about transformation, rebirth, really deep psychological exploration. And so when we take it into the terms of health, this points us to profound healing processes and the need for detoxification, or perhaps maybe challenges related to reproductive or elimination systems. When we think about his influence over the reproductive system, it really underscores the themes of creation, power, and the cycle of life and death. It reflects our capacity for sexual expression and regeneration, both physically and creatively. And when we think Pluto-related health issues, they might include, like I said, reproductive challenges or conditions where its transformative energy is calling for that deep healing or significant shifts to how we relate to our reproductive health and sexuality. The processes of detoxification and elimination are crucial for maintaining health and vitality. Allowing the body to purge toxins and waste is a must. Okay. Pluto's rule here is very emblematic of a broader theme of releasing what is toxic or unnecessary, whether it's that physical toxin, those emotional burdens, or that outdated life pattern. All right. So conditions that might come through this way would be things that affect the colon, the bladder, any of the organs involved in detoxification can be linked to those Pluto themes and require us to confront and transform our deeper health issues or habits. Okay. When we're thinking about it on a cellular level, Pluto governs the body's capacity for healing and regeneration, the death of old cells and the birth of new ones. And so this regenerative power is at the heart of Pluto's transformative influence, reflecting its potential for profound healing and renewal. And issues here might manifest as problems with healing, scarring, things that have to do with our body's ability to recover from illness or injury, things that are challenging to us to engage deeply within a healing process. All right. And so to support or harness these effects of Pluto, we of course want to engage in things that support ourselves emotionally and physically as far as detoxification goes, which might be dietary cleanses, regular physical activity, anything that would encourage sweating or elimination of toxins, emotional release, okay, those sorts of things. when we are thinking about it reproductively, think about, fostering a healthy relationship with one's sexuality and reproductive health. Think about openly conversing about sexuality and not, practicing honor to the body's creative power. All of those are kinds of very Pluto regenerative influence things. When we are thinking about just promoting health and renewal, think about things that encourage that cellular regeneration, adequate rest, nutrient-rich diets, techniques that reduce inflammation, mind-body practices that do with psychological resilience and renewal. All of those are very, very good. Now, when we're looking at Pluto's astrological constitution, it's inviting us to confront the deeper challenges and transformative potentials within our health. And so by recognizing and engaging with Pluto themes of death, rebirth, and renewal, we have the ability to navigate our health journeys with a sense of empowerment and resilience and really deep capacity for healing and transforming. Right. So when we look at asteroids and health, we are going to look at Ceres, Vesta, Juno, Pallas Athena, and Chiron. And these add contribution as far as health goes in the means not only of health attributes, but also in personal development, I think. Each of the asteroids symbolizes really unique energy and influences that kind of guide our approach to healing and self-care. Okay, they give insight into like the different aspects of our health and our well-being. All right, so when we look at Ceres, we know that Ceres is a dwarf planet in between Mars and Jupiter, and that it was the first asteroid discovered, and that holds really deep significance in astrology, especially when it comes to concerning things of nutrition, nurturing, parenthood, and care. So if you think about, the mythology, the history of Ceres, she was named after a Roman god, the goddess of agriculture, grain crops, fertility, relationships, motherly, maternal, nurturing relationships. Ceres represents the sustenance of life, the cycle of birth and rebirth, and how we care for and nurture ourselves and others. Okay, so when we think about it in context of health, Ceres placement in an astrological chart is going to offer insights into our attitudes towards nutrition, self-care, emotional well-being, as well as our innate ways of nurturing. Okay. Ceres association with agriculture and grain brings attention to the role of nutrition in our health. It underscores the importance of how we nourish our bodies. It highlights our dietary needs and our preferences that can support or hinder our well-being. Right? A really prominent Ceres in a chart can indicate a strong connection to food, possibly manifesting as an intuitive understanding of nutritional need, or conversely, it could be challenges like eating disorders or food sensitivities. And it prompts us to consider not just what we eat, but how we relate to food and the nourishment on a deeper level. All right. So when we're looking at Ceres and its significant nutrition, we cover layers of meaning that extend beyond mere like dietary habits. It actually touches the very core of our emotional and spiritual relationship with nourishment. Ceres represents the cycle of life, growth, loss, rebirth. And this cycle really is profoundly influences our approach to feeding our bodies and our souls. Ceres gives us information on how the emotional connections that we forge with food, which often stem from early life experiences or cultural backgrounds. And so food can be a source of comfort, it can be a means of celebration, or it could be a point of stress and contention. And so, again, for those that with a prominent series in their chart, you're looking at emotional ties to food and nourishment that could be very, very strong and influencing eating habits and attitudes towards diet. Understanding these connections can lead to a more mindful eating practice that honors our body's needs and our emotional health. Okay. Um, for some, a strong series influence might manifest as maybe a heightened sensitivity to a certain food or an intuitive sense of what their body needs. And so, sensitivity could be a gift, kind of guiding someone towards a diet that truly supports health and vitality. However, it also might present challenges such as navigating food intolerances or overcoming disordered eating patterns. And so it's like embracing intuitive eating principles really is something you have to learn to do if you've got that series energy going, because you have to harness that energy positively um, to make sure that it's encouraging in a compassionate, very tuned in approach to food and eating that's listening to those body cues and needs. When we think about series beyond physical nutrition, um, when we think about series, you have to think about the concept of nurturing in all forms. This includes how we care for our emotional and psychological health, the quality of the maternal or parental care that we received when we were young, how we extend care to those that we have in our lives. Series influence really invites us to explore our self-care practices and our emotional nurturance. Um, it's it encourages us to have a really balanced approach to caring for the body, the mind, and the spirit. And when you dive deeper into that nurturing essence of series, we find a really, really rich layered tapestry of care that really extends beyond the physical act of eating to touch every aspect of our life. Series, it actually, its influence is calling to almost like a holistic self-care, highlighting the interconnectedness of our emotional and psychological and spiritual health that all feeds into our physical well-being. Okay. So when we're looking at trying to align this series nurturing energy and enhance our self-care, think about things that incorporate nourishing your body and your mind and your spirit, like some of the other things we talked about, spending time in nature, um, something that you find creative, or doing something that fosters some kind of spiritual connection for you. Think about finding safe, healthy ways to express your emotions. That could be, art, writing, conversation with somebody you trust. Emotional expression is a fundamental aspect of self-care and nurturance. Think about building and maintaining connections with a supportive community. Okay. Because series basically reminds us of the importance of mutual care and the strength found in the collective nurturing. Okay. When we look at Ceres's astrological constitution, basically she sheds a light on the profound importance of nourishment, nurturing, and caring in our health and well-being. And so if we embrace the principles that go with series, it gives us the ability to foster a deeper connection to the sources of sustenance in our life and to really cultivate the things that we're doing in our life that are going to nurture us wholly, just to fill us. All right. Do you know is the asteroid of partnership. And so when we think about Juno, we need to think about the nature of our intimate partnerships and kind of the dynamics we have within relationships that affect our emotional and physical health. When we think of her in health, Juno might point to the ways in which our closest relationships support or challenge our well-being, suggesting paths to harmony and balance within partnerships. With Juno, okay, Juno basically represents the aspects of partnership and commitment. And, it gets its name from the Roman goddess who was the protector of marriage and women. And so while often considered in the context of romance and romantic relationships, Juno also influences other realms of partnership. She extends to business partnerships, to deep friendships, any significant one-on-one bond. Okay. When we take her into the health astrology, she offers insight into how our closest relationships are going to impact our health and well-being, and highlights the interplay between the relational dynamic and the physical or emotional. Okay. So when we are thinking about the quality of our close relationships, think about how significantly that affects our stress levels. Looking at mental health, life satisfaction, right? All of which have really deep implications in our physical health. So Juno can shed light on the kind of relational patterns that may either support or undermine health. Example, say you got a really supportive and loving relationship, that can help bolster your immune system, improve your heart health, decrease the likelihood of depression. Looking at the opposite way, if you've got a relationship that is full of conflict and that is not supportive, it will increase stress, give higher blood pressure, and could offer other health issues. Okay. So Juno's aspects to other planets in a natal chart will further specify how these dynamics play out. Like if you've got a really challenging aspect, say between like Juno and Mars, that might indicate conflicts around assertiveness and aggression in relationships, potentially leading to stress-related health issues. But let's say it's a harmonious aspect, and let's say it's with Venus. That could suggest the relationships offer a source of pleasure and stress relief, which would be positively contributing to health. Okay. So Juno also represents the potential for healing within a partnership. And so this can be manifested as the capacity of significant relationships to facilitate emotional healing and offer support during, health challenges, to motivate positive lifestyle changes. Basically, wherever, Juno is, it can indicate really therapeutic qualities of partnership, suggesting ways in which relationships can be a source of strength and recovery. All right, so some things to leverage Juno's influence in health and well-being. You want to cultivate open communication, mutual respect, and support in your significant relationships. You want to use Juno's insights to navigate and balance your needs with your partner, aiming for kind of that healthy interdependence rather than isolation. You want to look at you want to reflect on how Juno reveals, your relationship needs and dynamics. And so this is insight that you can use to work towards more fulfilling and very more health supportive partnerships. Okay, so when we look at Juno's astrological constitution, We're looking at Juno offers a nuanced view of how our most intimate relationships intertwine with our health, highlighting the profound impact of love, partnership, and commitment on our well-being. Okay. All right. Athena, Pallas Athena, is the warrior of wisdom. All right. So Pallas Athena represents creative intelligence, healing through patterns, and the integration of mental and physical health strategies. Her placement can indicate areas where strategic thinking and pattern recognition can be applied to practice, highlighting body connection and maintaining. Okay. When we think about Pallas Athena, she, of course, was the Greek goddess of wisdom, craft, war. And for her, she is a symbol in astrology of intellectual acuity, um, creative problem solving, and the integration of kind of a masculine feminine energy pool. And so in the realm of Athena's influence is extending to our capacity for healing through wisdom and the strategic approach to health and the mind-body connection, highlighting our innate ability to navigate health challenges with insight and innovation. Okay, so Pallas Athene in a natal chart will emphasize a holistic and intellectual approach to health. It suggests an innate understanding of the body's wisdom and the ability to use both analytical and intuitive skills in addressing health concerns. An example would be, let's say you have someone with a very prominent Pallas Athene. That could show somebody who is who adeptly combines conventional medicine with alternative healing. And so intuitively is understanding the complementary benefits of each. Okay. When we think about the warrior and the problem-solving strategic Pallas Athene, think about how when you have this Pallas Athene placement, it could also indicate a talent for devising an effective strategy, maintaining one's health or wellness, and how this can manifest as a ability to identify root causes of health issues rather than just treating symptoms, or creatively employing lifestyle changes to improve well-being. It encourages a proactive stance towards health where we're doing informed choices and preventative measurements. Okay. When we are looking at Pallas Athena and representation of like this harmonious integration of this masculine and feminine energy within the healing process, this balance can lead to a more nuanced understanding of health, where strength and assertiveness are balanced with nurturing and receptivity. Okay. The influence encourages us to embrace a comprehensive approach to health that honors both the analytical and action-oriented aspects of health and the intuitive and compassionate qualities of care. Okay. So when we're thinking about ways to benefit, to use Pallas Athene, you want to explore and integrate various healing modalities that address physical and mental and spiritual aspects, kind of getting that wisdom and strategic approaches out of Pallas Athene. We want to think about the energy of her staying informed about health topics, doing research and looking at the innovations in health, thinking about it from the love of knowledge, to guide informed and strategic health decisions. You want to think about it from the point of trying to like balance the yin and yang energies in the body and recognize the value of both active and receptive approaches to health, incorporating, the practices of honoring that both the masculine and the feminine aspects of our nature come together. When we at constitution in the astrological chart, we're looking at insight into our health and healing journey, emphasizing the power of wisdom, strategic thinking, and the integration of the diverse energies in fostering well-being. Okay. It's like she gives us the ability to navigate the complexities of health with intelligence and creativity and balance. All right, Vesta. Vesta is the keeper of the internal flame. When we think about Vesta, Vesta symbolizes focus, dedication, areas of life where we feel most called to dedicate ourselves. And that includes our health routines. In health astrology, Vesta's influence can suggest where we might need to concentrate our energy for healing, or how devotion to a cause or practice supports our physical, emotional well-being. Right? If we think about Vesta's place traditionally, Roman goddess, hearth, home, family, carries the symbolism that's related to focus, dedication, sacredness of our internal and external spaces. So when we think about it in health terms, Vesta's influence highlights the importance of maintaining that sacredness of our bodies and health, and emphasizing purity, devotion to self-care, and the rituals that support our well-being. All right. Vesta in the natal chart underscores the notion that our bodies are temples that require reverence and care. And so this celestial body invites us to consider the rituals of health, self-care, as well as the sacred practices, that things that we do with our deserving, our focus, and our dedication. It's about honoring our body through cleanliness and purity, and really the mindful observation of health ritual that resonate with us. When we look at Vesta, Vesta also represents the value of solitude and introspection in maintaining health and spiritual. So if we think about the Vestal virgins of ancient Rome, they kept that sacred fire burning through, constant vigilance and dedication. And so individuals with a prominent Vesta are reminded of the importance of taking time for solitude and self-reflection in their health practices. And this might include practices like meditation, solo walks in nature, journaling. All of those would be ways to connect with our inner self and understand the deeper needs of the body and the spirit. When we think about Vesta, Vesta's influence in our health extends to the creation and maintenance of rituals and routines that really support our well-being. And these practices become a sacred act of devotion to our health. And for different people, it's different things. It might be your morning yoga practice. It might be your nightly skincare routine. It might be regular detoxifications. Whatever it is, Vesta is asking us to approach these routines with reverence and really recognize them as essential components of our health and spiritual practice. Right? Align and enhance Vesta's influence. We want to basically identify and commit to daily or weekly health rituals that honor our body and support our well-being. We want to incorporate periods of solitude into our routine to connect with ourselves and reflect on our health needs, really using this time to nourish our own bodies and souls. We want to consider the purity of what we are consuming and our surroundings, trying to opt for clean and nourishing sustenance, and really a harmonious living space. So when we look at Vesta and that, astrological constitution and our charts, I think we're looking at Vesta offers us really deep insights into the sanctity of our health and well-being, emphasizing the importance of focus, purity, dedication, and really by honoring the sacredness of our bodies and nurturing ourselves with devoted care, we cultivate a really holistic sense of well-being that supports our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. All right. The last one we're going to look at is Chiron. And Chiron has a little bit of controversy that goes with it. All right. So, and I will go verbatim from Judith Hill. Chiron reveals the wound that, if healed, becomes our gift to the world. It symbolizes our deepest vulnerabilities, but also our unique path to healing and wholeness. Embracing Chiron's lessons allows us to transform our pain into profound wisdom and compassion. Okay. In her analysis of Chiron in astrology, in webinars that I have attended, Judith Hill has expressed that she has some reservation about the depth of understanding and the data that is currently available on Chiron, given the fact that it was only discovered in 1977. And so she feels like Chiron does bring valuable insight into health and transformation, but she doesn't think, because of its extensive historical data and observational depth with charts, that it's fully developed. Okay. She suggests that while Chiron holds significant potential in understanding personal wounds and healing processes, that its novelty means that interpretations might still be evolving and really should be considered exploratory rather than definitive when it comes to health astrology. All right. So with that, I will share what is at this point believed. Okay, so we have, of course, the history of Chiron. He is a centaur, and he's known for wisdom and healing. And even despite his own wound, he had just this really unique position in astrology. In the natal chart, Chiron represents our deep wounds, areas where we have the potential to heal ourselves and where we might become healers in our lives for others. Its influence in health astrology really provides insights into how we confront and integrate our physical and emotional challenges, kind of emphasizing the journey from pain to healing and wisdom. Okay. When we think about Chiron's placement, it often points to chronic conditions or persistent injuries that challenge us to find new ways of healing and coping. And so these may be physical wounds, such as recurring injuries, chronic pain, health issues that resist traditional treatment. Also, if we look at it emotionally, it could highlight a psychological wound or trauma that affects our mental and physical well-being. Some examples would be, like I said, a chronic illness. Somebody with a strong Chiron influence might experience long-term health conditions that require ongoing management. Looking at it from the emotional trauma point of view, Chiron is an area where a past emotional wound impacts your current health, such as a stress-related disorder or a psychosomatic condition. Okay. Chiron's energy encourages a holistic approach to health that integrates various healing modalities. These include a blend of conventional medicine, alternative therapies, personal healing practices, kind of addressing the whole person, that mind, body, spirit. And Chiron really invites us to explore that non-traditional method of healing and to develop a personalized approach that resonates our own individual unique needs. Okay. Some ways to think about that, some approaches that would be like integrative medicine. So we're going to combine Western medical treatments with practices like acupuncture, herbal medicines, energy healing. When we're thinking about the mind-body connection techniques, meditation, yoga, um, any kind of mindfulness to complement physical treatment. When we think about Chiron's archetype, it's a healer, which suggests that through understanding and addressing our own wounds, we gain the ability to help others heal. And so this process of healing often involves developing empathy and wisdom and resilience. And so Chiron's influence can lead people to careers or vocations in the healing arts, where their personal experiences of overcoming health challenges inspire a deeper connection with an ability to assist someone else. Um, Somebody with a prominent Chiron might be drawn to healthcare, counseling, holistic wellness, things of that nature. You might have somebody with a strong Chiron that encourages using, personal experiences of healing to provide compassionate support to others who are facing similar situations. Right? When we look at trying to harness Chiron's healing energy, we're looking at integrating, like I said, various healing modalities, really combining traditional with alternative to address the whole person. That's really a big piece of it. It's the whole person. When we are thinking about, reflecting on how health challenges relate to our emotional or our physical wounds, because this insight could really help us develop a personalized healing strategy. Um, Also, Chiron is about cultivating resilience and empathy by, viewing health challenges as opportunities for growth and learning, and really supporting others in their healing journey and using your own experiences as a guide. Right. So when we look at Chiron's astrological constitution, we're thinking about in a chart, we're looking at insight into how we approach healing and integrate our deepest wounds into kind of a holistic sense of well-being. And really by embracing the journey from pain to healing, we transform challenges into sources of wisdom and strength, which enhance both our lives and the lives of the people who we're supporting. Okay. All right. I am down to 7 minutes. And I thought to bring this all together, I normally use charts from, people in the group and things, but I I thought immediately of someone famous who has a chart that screams um, aspects and things that have to do with medical astrology. And that is Steve Jobs. Okay. I have Steve Jobs' chart up here. He was born February the 24th. That's an error. It's not the 23rd. He was born on the 24th of 1955 at 7:15, not 55. I'm sorry, I don't know what I was on when I made that chart. The slide, I will fix it in the slides when I share them. Anyway, he was born in San Francisco, California, and he is the founder of Apple. And he is a very intriguing case when we look at it from a medical health astrology point of view, because he had such significant health challenges and they're pretty well documented. And so it gives us really, really good data. All right. So if we look at his medical history, three main things come out. We had the pancreatic cancer diagnosis. He was diagnosed with a rare type of pancreatic cancer known as um, pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor in 2003. He had a liver transplant in 2009. due to complications from the cancer. And he had cancer recurrence and death. So even though they treated him, the cancer came back and led to death, October the 5th of 2011. So let's talk about some of the planets in this chart and the health factors that are related to them. All right, so if we look at his sun, it's right here. All right, so we've got a sun in Pisces at 5 degrees. Remember, our sun governs our vitality, our immune system, and our overall health. Okay, so I would say this indicates a sensitivity and a vulnerability in his immune system, and that this aligns with his diagnosis of the pancreatic cancer and reflects his sensitive constitution, requiring careful emotional and spiritual balance. We look at the actual medical correlation. The tumor that he had and the complications with his immune system really correspond to that nuanced health challenge suggested by Pisces. And the need for balance in emotional and spiritual well-being would be crucial for his vitality, which is his sun. All right. If we look at his moon is right here, and it is in Aries. And when we look at the moon in Aries, we're looking at emotional health, head, and face. Okay. So we've got the Aries moon, and it provides dynamic energy, but it can also lead to stress-related conditions. If you think about it, Jobs' intense drive and high-stress leadership style may have exacerbated his health issues, kind of aligning with that high energy and stress propensity of Aries. And if we look at it in correlation to medical, think about his high pressure role and his increased his stress levels, contributing to the progression of his illness. And so the head and the brain associated with Aries would highlight that stress management being critical. Okay, if we look at his Mercury, which is right down here in Aquarius. All right, so it is going to govern the nervous system and the respiratory system. All right. It enhances the mental agility, but stresses the nervous system. So Mercury in Aquarius would reflect Jobs' innovative thinking, but also the strain on his nervous system due to his constant mental activity. All right. If you think about it, his relentless pursuit of innovation and the stress from his high mental engagement contributed to his overall stress, which again impacted his health. That Aquarius connection with circulation emphasizes the need for managing stress to support his nervous system health. All right, we have Venus in Capricorn, which is down here. All right. Yes, Carla, the Mercury is stationary. So we're looking at Venus in Capricorn. So we're looking at skin, bones, teeth. We think about it, it emphasizes the structured health practices in his life. Venus in Capricorn would suggest the importance of maintaining bone density and a disciplined health routine. And think about it, his disciplined approach to his diet and health, including the alternative treatments that he went through, align with that Venus in Capricorn's influence on his structured health management. Okay. We have his Mars up here in Aries, and it's at the 29th degree. Okay. So Mars in Aries, we're looking at governing muscles, adrenal glands, energy. So think about it. This provides high energy and assertiveness, but it can lead again to stress-induced conditions. Mars in Aries suggests the need for balancing high physical energy to avoid inflammation. If you think about Jobs' high physical energy and his assertiveness, it contributed to his intense work ethic, but it also increased his stress level, which potentially exacerbated his health issues. Sure. All right, so we're looking at digestion and liver. All right, this impacts the emotional well-being on digestive and liver health. You figure Jupiter in Cancer suggests the importance of maintaining emotional balance and digestive health. Jobs' liver complications and need for a transplant reflect the digestive and liver health challenges associated with Jupiter in Cancer. The emotional stress likely worsened his liver function and his overall digestive health issues. We've got Saturn in Scorpio down here. Okay. So we're looking at governing the reproductive system. All right, let's interpret it. It indicates a resilience, but a challenge with deep-seated health issues. Saturn in Scorpio highlights the transformative health process. Okay, so we're looking at Jobs' battle with the pancreatic cancer required transformative treatments, which aligns with that Saturn and Scorpio influence. We've got a deep detoxification and managing serious health issues that were the key themes. I see a question here. How does retrograde, which means when something is in retrograde, usually it has an internal effect. Although, so you're looking at it being, think about it with Jupiter, it would have been thinking about the emotional balance and the digestive health. When things are in retrospect, they are more introspective. So it's something that would be more, he might know and feel more than the outside world would be seeing. Okay. All right. So let's pop back up here to actually, if you look at it, it's interesting and it's a whole different topic. But look at his outer planets. They're all retrograde. I'm not going to touch that, but just think about that. Some of you will immediately have thoughts on that. Uranus in Cancer. So health-wise, we're looking at nervous system and digestion. So we're looking, it's suggesting innovative approaches to health and potential sudden health challenges and changes. And so Uranus in Cancer would highlight the need for managing stress to support digestive and nervous system health. If you think about it, from what I know of his story, he chose alternative treatments that reflect that Uranus in Cancer's innovative tendency. And his sudden health changes and challenges really align with that Uranus influence. All right, we've got Neptune in Libra, which is down here. All right, governing the immune system and the kidneys. That's going to emphasize the balance and intuition in health practices. Neptune in Libra suggests the importance of maintaining kidney health and a balanced lifestyle. Jobs' interest in alternative medicine and balanced health practices aligns with this Neptune in Libra. His approach to managing his immune system and his overall health reflects that Neptune's influence. When we look at Pluto in Leo, that's going to govern the heart and the regenerative process. That really highlights the transformative energy related to heart health and overall vitality. Pluto in Leo would suggest a focus on cardiovascular health and deep regenerative healing. If you think about it, his ongoing battle with cancer and his need for regenerative treatments like a liver transplant align with that transformative energy of Pluto in Leo. It's in the 11th house. A transplant, network, community. Okay. I think his struggle with profound health challenges really reflect that Pluto influence in his chart. All right, let's look at the asteroids. All right, so we've got Ceres in Capricorn, which is down here. All right, so that would govern nutrition, nurturing, overall health. So Ceres in Capricorn emphasizes a disciplined nutrition and structured care practice. And Capricorn is going to rule the bones, the skin, suggesting a need for maintaining structural health through consistent health routines and attention to dietary intake. Right? If you think about it, his disciplined approach to his diet, especially his adherence to specific dietary regiments, reflects Ceres in Capricorn's influence. His initial choice of doing alternative dietary treatments for cancer aligns with the need for nutrition, which is indicated by this placement. Vesta in Gemini. We've got Vesta up here by herself in Gemini. All right, so with that, remember we're looking at the focus and dedication in health routines. So Vesta in Gemini is going to highlight the importance of mental focus and the dedication to health practice. Think about it. Gemini is ruling the lungs, the arms, indicating the necessity for respiratory health and dexterity activities. Okay. Jobs' intense dedication to both his work and his health, including his focused research into alternative treatments, aligns with his Vesta in Gemini. His disciplined health routines and the need to maintain respiratory health reflect the placement. All right, we've got Juno and Scorpio down here, not too far from Saturn. Right, that's going to govern his intimate partnerships and their impact on his health. Right, so Juno and Scorpio emphasizes a transformative relationship that impacts health. So Scorpio's influence is going to suggest a deep transformative partnership that plays a significant role in managing health and emotional well-being. When we think about Jobs' close relationships, particularly with his family and key business partners and associates, were crucial to him in supporting him through his illness. Juno and Scorpio suggest that these intense and transformative relationships had a significant impact on his ability to manage his health challenges. All right, and then we have Pallas Athena in Sagittarius. She's down here. All right, remember that governs strategic health management and healing wisdom. So Pallas Athena in Sagittarius is going to support a strategic and holistic approach to health. So we've got Sagittarius ruling hips and liver, suggesting the importance of integrating various health strategies and maintaining a broad holistic view. His use of alternative treatments alongside the conventional medical treatments that he had aligns with this Pallas Athena in Sagittarius. His strategic approach to managing his health, including his liver transplant, reflects the need for a comprehensive and innovative health strategy in his life. All right, and then we have Chiron, which is in Aquarius. It's down here. So this is going to govern wounds and holistic healing. So Chiron in Aquarius highlights the need to address deep emotional and physical wounds through innovative and holistic healing approaches. Aquarius rules the circulatory system in the lower legs, indicating sensitivities and the necessity for integrating unique healing methods. Okay. Oops. If we look at the correlation between jobs and this scenario, we are looking at, with him and Chiron, we're looking at the fact that he explored holistic healing. He used alternative medicine and spiritual practices, which reflects on that Chiron in Aquarius, his influence. You know, his effort to find innovative treatment for his pancreatic cancer highlights this integration of this holistic approach in his health journey. So if you look at it, Steve Jobs' chart here and its planetary and asteroid placements offers a really comprehensive view of his health challenges and strengths. You know, his sun in Pisces and moon in Aries reflect those sensitivities and the complex health issues, including his battle with the pancreatic cancer and the stress from his dynamic leadership style. His innovation and his disciplined approach to health were highlighted by Mercury in Aquarius and Venus in Capricorn, and align with his exploration of alternative treatments and structured health practices. And the influences of, you know, the asteroids, Ceres, Vesta, Juno, Pallas Athena, Chiron, they really underscore the importance of that structured health practice, holistic healing, supportive relationship pieces that were in his health journey. You know, his chart shows all kinds of transformative elements, that Saturn in Scorpio and the Pluto in Leo, which, you know, emphasize his resilience and the multifaceted nature of his health challenge. I think when we look at his medical history, encompassing his cancer diagnosis, his liver complications, his stress-related issues, they mirror closely these astronomical and astrological themes, providing a nuanced understanding of his health through the lens of health and medical astrology. You know, this holistic perspective really highlights how his approach to managing his health, combining, you know, the innovations and the discipline and the support, how that all that complexity interplayed with each other in his well-being. All right. I picked out a couple books here that I thought were very wonderful, and I put links to Judith Hill's website and her Academy for Astrological Medicine if you want to look at some of the things when I was talking about Chiron on her websites. The Demetra George book is wonderful for the asteroids. I highly recommend it. All right. Our next piece is going to be the houses. So we're going to add that next layer. So now we've talked about the zodiac signs. We've talked about the planets and the asteroids. Now we're going to talk about the significance of the houses when it comes to health. Okay. All right.